If you enjoy what you hear here today, please consider supporting me on my Patreon page. Every dollar helps, and you get to see content that you won't see here. Chapter 6. Summons. The Equestrian Hive, 1 month later. Queen Draco was still missing. In the past month, they had tensely awaited any word, any sign. They watched for even a single drone fleeing whatever event caused their disappearance with at least a fragment of information. But there was nothing. Not a peep. Queen Twilight's patience had run out quickly, and she had begun preparing an expedition to go to the hive of her friend. In preparation for this, she had had Spike contact Dragon Lord Ember, who in turn communicated with the dragons living in the area around Draco's hive. However, Ember's news did not bring any comfort. Her contact had seen the hive seemingly abandoned, all activity coming to a halt in the area. Now that meant that either the changelings were all gone, or they simply didn't want to be seen by any prying eyes, retreating back into their hive and only going out disguised as they had before their friendship with Equestria began. Twilight was desperate to know the truth of the matter, so arrangements had been made and she was ready to go. At least, until the Queen began to hear the rumors spreading out from the other changeling hives. Queen Draco wasn't the only one to go missing within those weeks. That information had caused Twilight to cancel the expedition, barring any and all changelings under her rule from going anywhere near the area, advising the ponies to do the same. If other hives had been vanishing, then she needed more information before she could even attempt a proper investigation of Draco's disappearance. She would not lead her hive blindly to the slaughter. She would not join the ranks of the missing. As such, Twilight had used every piece of her influence and all of her contacts to see if she could gain more of an understanding of the situation. Her attempts to consult with the other remaining hives was met with silence, aside from those original rumors spread from drone to drone. Her other methods were met with equal success. No one seemed to know anything aside from the same rumor she herself had already heard. Even with the help of the princesses, they were getting nowhere fast, and Twilight's frustration and fear were mounting with each passing moment. And then it arrived. The massive doors to the throne room opened wide, a changeling drone in dark green armor walking in with a saddlebag slung onto his back. Twilight had been in discussion with Captain Scorpion about their hive's safety when she had received word that the drone had arrived at the entrance, urgently requesting an audience. "That's close enough," Scorpion stated as the drone began to get close to the throne. "Be still and state your business." "Of course." The drone nodded his head respectfully towards the captain before bowing down to Queen Twilight. "Your Highness, thank you for seeing me."
"It said you come with urgent tidings," Twilight noted. "Your armor signifies you as a changeling guard of Queen Tempora."
"That is correct, Your Highness," the drone confirmed. "However, I am not here strictly on behalf of Queen Tempora at this time."
"Oh?"
Twilight raised an eyebrow.
"Then why are you here? Is your hive safe?"
He nodded. "For now, yes." "For now?" Captain Scorpion questioned. "I'm sure you've heard of the missing hives," the drone pointed out. "Like Queen Draco, who you are familiar with, I believe." Queen Twilight glared down at the drone.
"I am, and I'm currently caring for many of the unfortunate drones from her hive."
"Yes, a small boon for you. A boost in numbers." Twilight stood up from her throne threateningly, glaring down on the changeling who was suddenly shrinking back from the Queen.
"Draco is my friend,"
Twilight spoke in a cool, furious voice.
"Don't you dare claim I am exploiting her disappearance for my personal gain. They've been connected to my hive mind for their own well-being. I am protecting them because it's what my friend would want, and it's the right thing to do. Are we clear?"
The drone quickly nodded in understanding. Perfectly, Your Highness." Twilight regarded him for a moment before sitting back down.
"Good. Now, your reason for being here?
Of course. At once. The drone quickly agreed, levitating a scroll out of his saddlebag. I'm not here solely for my queen, but on behalf of the council.
The council?
Yes, the drone confirmed, letting the letter move from his green ore to Twilight's lavender one. I have been instructed, among several others, to quickly go from hive to hive and give you these. The other hive I have personally visited was that of Queen Cocoon and Princess Insecta. Twilight opened the scroll, reading the contents intently, her interest quickly peaking.
The council is calling a session? When did this begin?
A month ago, soon after the Changeling Queens began to go silent.
A month is quick by Changeling standards to call a council. It must be urgent. They must have information to share on this crisis.
It is urgent, Your Highness, the drone stated, though it helps that there are fewer hives to visit now. Twilight's eyes narrowed.
How few?
The Changeling considered for a moment before answering. I'm not sure. Not sure? Scorpion asked in disbelief. You were tasked to bring us to the council, and yet you do not know? I was not given that precise information. He responded regretfully. But it's bad. I know that much to be true. Scorpion gave a huff of disbelief, turning to Queen Twilight. Bad. How can so many Changeling Queens just vanish? What could do this?
What did she find in that ruin?
Twilight muttered to herself. She didn't know if the ruin was responsible, but the connection with the timing was far too strong to be a coincidence. Twilight shook her head. Those are lines of thought for later.
Very well,
she stated.
I will attend, and I'll prepare to depart immediately.
Very good, Your Highness. The drone bowed down again. I shall take my leave then.
Very well. Go in peace.
Captain Scorpion gestured to two of his guards. You two, escort him back out. The guards saluted, accompanying the drone as he departed. Once he was gone, Scorpion turned back to Twilight. This whole thing is very disconcerting. I'm starting to wonder exactly how many hives are left.
We know Tempora and Cocoon are safe,
Twilight noted.
I'm glad to hear about Cocoon in particular. Outside of Draco, she and Insecta are the only other Changeling royals I can really call friends.
Even if they remain hidden, Scorpion stated dryly.
They're scared, Scorpion,
Twilight sighed.
Some of the others are stubborn, to be sure, but those two aren't among them. In time, I still think I can convince them, if none of the others.
What about Xerox? Scorpion inquired. From what I understand, she is allies with both Draco and Cocoon. Even opposed Queen Crudelis during your first council. She even supported your initial plea for peace with the ponies along with Cocoon.
Sometimes there is a difference between what you say and what you do,
Twilight remarked.
She may have supported me that day, but she still values old Changeling tradition. Convincing her will be much harder than Cocoon.
Twilight groaned, rubbing her temples tenderly.
But we're off topic. Besides, talking how to convince the others always gives me a headache.
They may one day be swayed by your example, Scorpion stated. Though, without Draco to help display that example herself.
I don't need to be reminded,
Twilight responded curtly. Quiet for a moment, she sighed, gently standing up from her throne and walking towards the door before turning back to her captain.
Could you still oversee the preparations for our departure to the Council Hive?
I can, Your Highness, the captain informed. I take it you will spend the rest of the day with Miss Rarity. Twilight smirked.
You know me too well, Scorpion. Oh, Celestia, that was divine!
Rarity cheerfully stated as she and her two changeling mare companions exited the spa in good spirits.
You know, I don't visit this place often enough,
Serona stated.
I should partake more often. Oh, you should, darling,
the immaculate unicorn encouraged.
I always make time for the spa, and always with a friend.
Saronis nodded in agreement, turning to her little sister.
And you, Pew? Did you enjoy it?
Palula quickly tried to wipe the happy grin off her face.
It was alright, I guess. Not really my thing, though. Liar. You enjoyed it just as much as we did,
Saronis said with a grin.
Oh, I did not!
Rarity tittered behind the hoof.
Oh, you remind me of a Pegasus friend of mine. She always insisted that spas were uncool, at least until the day we caught her in the act. And now she joins us in our regular spa trips. The element of loyalty, Raymadesh, right?
Saronis asked knowingly.
Oh, was it that obvious?
Rarity joked. The trio found a nice table, offering them a view of the entire atrium from the high-up floor they were currently on. The table was just outside a quaint little place where a waitress quickly hurried out, having just seen one of the Queen's close personal friends and fellow element bearer sitting there.
Good morning to you,
the waitress cheerfully greeted.
What can I get you? Can I get one of those love-infused smoothies, please?
Palula asked.
I'll have the same,
Saronis stated.
Rarity? I'll just have water for now. Thank you. Of course, it'll be right up,
the changeling mare cheerfully informed, rushing off to fulfill the order.
I'll pay just as I did for the spa. Don't worry, girls,
Rarity said as the waitress left. Saronis shook her head.
You already paid for the spa, so I can't let you do that. No, darling, I insist,
Rarity all but demanded.
After all, you're already helping me, so it's the least I can do.
Rarity considered something for a moment, deciding to speak up again.
Though I must ask, do all hives use bits? Excuse me? I just find it odd that a changeling hive uses equestrian currency. Do all hives do it? I never really thought about it until just now. In all these years, you've never asked. Well, as I said,
Rarity began to respond, though she looked a little sheepish.
I only just thought about it.
Saronis shrugged.
Well, I think a couple of hives do. Some closer to different countries use their currencies, and a few don't use any just to give out a daily quota of food and the likes. So it depends on the hive. All hives are run by different queens,
Palula pointed out.
So of course the hives will be run differently to each other. You make a valid point,
Rarity conceded, just as the waitress returned with their drinks.
Ah, thank you very much. You're welcome,
the waitress said with a smile.
Anything else? Nothing, thanks,
Saronis said, the waitress collecting the bits from Rarity and then moving off. After watching the waitress depart, Rarity turned back to the two changelings she was with.
Oh, I really must thank you again for agreeing to accompany me to Manhattan. It's no problem,
Saronis stated.
You're the first pony to attempt a changeling-specific fashion line. We're glad to help. I was coerced,
Palula joked, receiving an elbow from her sister. Rarity chuckled.
Yes, well, I'm afraid most others in the industry are too afraid to try their hoof or don't believe they can make a dress work on a changeling. That's racist,
Palula mumbled.
So you want to prove the naysayers wrong?
Saronis questioned.
I do, darling, very much so,
Rarity confirmed.
I mean, if a personal friend of Queen Twilight herself doesn't take on the task, then who will? I want to show changelings can be included in the fashion industry as they are, not just by using their shape-shifting abilities. I'm just excited to see the big city,
Palula commented.
I've heard it's quite different from the Crystal Empire. Vastly, darling,
Rarity stated.
But it has its own magnificence and charm. Oh, I promise you will just be blown away by the sights.
The teenage changeling grinned.
I look forward to... Your Highness!
All three pairs of eyes turned to the changeling queen who had just landed next to the table, her wings still buzzing slightly.
Twilight,
Rarity happily greeted.
There you are. Rarity, I trust you enjoyed the spa? Oh, you know me well enough to know the answer to that,
Rarity said with a small chuckle.
How did the discussion with your guard captain go? It took an interesting turn,
Twilight stated.
I received an invite to the council, and it's starting very soon.
The mood took a small dive. An invite to the council could only be related to one subject.
I take it this has to do with the missing hives?
Saronis asked. Twilight nodded.
It is. I know you've all been worried about it. The rumors are everywhere,
Palula blurted out.
We're all a little on edge. I know.
Twilight said regretfully.
I'm working on it, though. You know myself and the others are here if you need us,
Rarity said in support.
I do believe Rainbow Dash would say, if a monster needs a dose of rainbow, we can be there in a jiffy, or at least something to that effect. She hacked out a few punches while saying it, I bet.
Twilight remarked with a chuckle.
I know you're all there. I'll have Spike send you a letter should the need arise, don't worry. And we'll be ready should the call come,
Rarity assured.
Where is Spiky Wikey anyway? I imagine he's helping Scorpion with the preparations,
Twilight stated.
Anyway, have you had dinner yet? Not yet, darling,
Rarity stated.
But this establishment, while small, seems quite nice. Will you be joining us?
Twilight nodded.
Gladly. As long as I'm not intruding, that is. Oh, of course not,
Saronis stated.
We're always happy to have you, Your Highness. This setting is informal, Saronis, so just Twilight will do,
the Queen ribbed. Saronis rolled her eyes.
Sorry, Twilight. Force of habit.